story
Are
for
are you on
sure.
Twitter?
I am, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was like, because if you're not on Twitter, your energy right now, like yeah. Okay.
Oh my god, yeah. I'm very guilty of laughing at Twitter. Like sometimes some of that stuff is so dark and I'm like, this is not funny, Geneva. Why are you
It
laughing?
is it is definitely on the edges of the internet. Some of the stuff I've seen there. Yeah. Hi, I'm Brad. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Virginia.
I'm calling from northern Minnesota.
I'm calling from Adelaide, South Australia.
And wherever you are, welcome to Blond Radio. Hi, I'm Brad. I live on the west coast of Canada. I'm almost always wrapped in a blanket these days, and I think it's finally starting to feel like Christmas. And welcome to Blond Radio, where every week I book calls with strangers from around the world. Today we'll talk to Benny, who shares their growth in 2020, Geneva, whose artistic journey has led her to all kinds of places and people, and Yumeng, a senior student from Australia who's engaging with the world around her. But first, this week at Blond Radio on Instagram, I gave you a prompt. How do you practice self-care? Here's what you had to say.
Hi, I'm Laura. I'm calling from Provo, Utah, and I practice self-care by practicing yoga. It's the first thing I do when I wake up every morning. I think that taking care of your physical body translates to taking care of your mind, and it is so emotionally healing to just stretch. I don't know, I love it.
Hi, my name is Michael. I'm calling from Tennessee. One of the things I found most important for my own self-care is being able to step away from things that overwhelm me, because life is very overwhelming. I think it's really important to remember to take care of yourself, that you are an important person. I know for myself it's very easy to forget that. I tend to ignore myself to take care of others, and being able to remember things that I enjoy and do things for myself. I am important and I matter is really nice. I like chocolate, that's nice too.
Hey, my name is Connie and I'm from Chile. I practice self-care, looking at the mirror and just asking myself how I am, and I just answer it, and sometimes I give myself advices. I don't know, I just listen some songs that hype me up, and I just dance.
Hi Brad, my name's Elise and I'm calling from Florida. I don't always have a lot of time to practice self-care, but when I do, it constantly changes. Sometimes I like to get on the Blonde Radio Discord and just hang out with my pals and talk to them about how their day was, because it's super therapeutic. Just knowing that I'm able to be myself around other people, that they won't judge me for who I am. Other times I like to just put on a face mask and light a candle and just chillax. Honestly, audiobooks are also really nice, and I've been listening to a lot of them lately. Been revisiting my Percy Jackson phase from middle school. But yeah, bye.
Thanks to everyone for submitting their responses, and we'll hear more answers throughout today's show. Hello.
Hey,
How's it going?
it's pretty good. I got a lot of good news today, work-wise, relationship-wise. It just seems to be turning out pretty good.
That's so exciting to hear. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah. How was your stream?
It was good. It was good. We're playing Undertale. It's cute. It's really fun. They seem to be enjoying it, which is always the goal.
Yes. Quality content right here.
We're trying. And then where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Virginia.
Virginia.
East Coast.
For the longest time,
Yeah.
I thought you were in New York. This is...
A lot of people thought.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Great to be informed. Sweet. Benny, you are so familiar with how this goes. Give me the elevator pitch on you. Tell me who you are, what you do, what got you to where you are today.
Well, I don't know. Before quarantine, I was just exploring a lot of things in the city and trying to find what I wanted to do. And then this year, I've been doing a lot of self-exploration and obviously no work because Corona.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to say that I am inspiring creative, working through things currently.
Totally. And you were one of the first people that hopped in the Discord server when we first booted up 4 or 5 months ago. That's, first of all, brave as hell, because I had so much anxiety even starting the server. What draws you to online communities? I'm curious.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I was worried, and I mentioned this the first time I got on your server. Like, I only made this Discord account like this year, and only about a month prior to you opening this one. What drew me was definitely like people and how they interact with each other on the internet. It's so different yet freeing, I guess, because they're not as shy as they would be in person. And so that attracted me. And then, funny enough, your live popped up on my For You page. Someone was like, oh, yo, there's a server. And I was like, well, I've been joining a lot lately and they haven't been bad. And this person seems wholesome. Let me just join their server. Yeah.
Yeah, you're speaking to a little bit there, just the way people interact online. Do you find it very different than face to face, or are there aspects that are the same or different?
People aren't as shy to bring up what's on their mind. I think maybe it's a lot of people say I'm lucky. Like I luck out on the servers that I'm on because people on the ones that I talk to a lot, they have conversations and like deep ones because they have no one else to talk to. And I relate to that because like that's what I always wanted when I was younger. That's why I always bring up my like two best friends who opened me up to like even communicating in the first place. So I see that and I'm like, this brings back the good old memories. Let me just stay here and see what we're going to talk about next.
That's cool. I like that a lot. And you've always been one to either lend an ear. I think you're one of the most patient people I've met, and also give what I consider to be really good advice. Where do you find your empathy? Where do you think that comes from in your life?
I've always been empathetic and really sensitive to the people around me. It's hard to say when I haven't cared. I mean, I guess it would be like when I've been hurt before, but even then, like I still think and consider other people's feelings because I can understand how much it hurts to be in certain mindsets, and I don't want anyone else to feel that way.
Would you also be one then to maybe see like look for the silver linings in people, even if potentially they don't deserve it?
Not gonna lie, sometimes my patience does run thin and I do call people out for their stuff, but I do that out of versus like blocking and like other stuff because yes, I guess I do see a silver lining. I'm like, they just never had anyone tell them that, yo, this isn't cool. Or I know what you really want to say deep down is that you're really scared right now. And I brought up something that you didn't think of until now.
Totally.
Like, yeah, just guiding people to the right spot.
I hadn't thought about it that way before.
Thank you. I consider you more patient, not gonna lie.
Oh, it's being old.
Being old. Oh my God. Okay.
You spoke to a little bit this year. You're working on some self-discovery, some self-actualization, if we can say that. Staying proactive this year as it's come to a close, like 2020, definitely a year to either, I think, wallow or reflect. And you strike me as someone who's been reflecting. What's the biggest discoveries you've made?
Oh my God. My therapist could probably like list the whole thing. This whole year, honestly, it's been really good because luckily I've been able to like contact my therapist like weekly. Self-discovery such as one of the biggest ones having to be like sexuality, and then other ones being like, what do I want? Why do I rely on other people's opinions? What are my morals? What is my foundation? And what basically makes me tick? Not gonna lie, it hasn't always been like straightforward. There have been weeks where I'd be like, I don't even want to talk about this right now. The sign of a good therapist is they'll be like, yeah, we don't have to. So we'll focus on what you need to focus. And then eventually I'll be like, okay, now I do want to talk about this. And yeah, I made a bunch of progress because now I'm talking to multiple people, creating new bonds. Like a lot of people don't believe this, but I was a big loner and I didn't want to be around a lot of people and I didn't know how to use my words. Not gonna lie, my therapist has stopped me from leaving servers multiple times because she's like, they have been improving your progress by like tenfold. The fact that you're interacting with these people, interactions that you're getting has provided such a positive impact. And I was like, oh, I never even thought about that. It's been a huge flip. But I think what's funny is everybody just thinks, oh my God, she's just top tier. She already knew all this. And I'm like, no, I was just guessing and y'all liked it. It was great.
Totally. I like that. Staying engaged, staying interacting. I think, yeah, one of the best ways to find out who you are is to put yourself in situations with other people that are also trying to find out who they are. It's all a big mirror in a sense, like based on their reactions back to you.
Exactly.
Yeah, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, no, like 100%. Like I realized a lot this year that people project a lot of their own issues onto you. I guess that also adds to the empathy because I'm like, oh man, they're saying all this mean stuff to me. or they say things a certain way, and I'm like, they must feel really bad today. It must really suck for them. And then when I do something, then I reflect back and I'm like, oh, I've seen this before in other people. So I can be kinder to myself and be like, oh yeah, I'm having a really bad day. I'll apologize to them later. Stuff like that.
And that kind of leads
Instead
into
of running away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're all a little too familiar with that, I think. But, when you recognize you're having a not so great day, that's where, our good friend, yours and mine, self-care comes into play. Are you practicing self-care?
Oh, listen, everybody's been coming after me. I've been checking in on other people more than I've been checking in on myself. And for the past month or so, a lot of people have been trying to help me with that. But at the end of the day, you can only help yourself. So slowly but surely, I am applying more self-care.
Yeah, that's so sweet to have people in your life have deep enough bonds with you to that point where they feel like, hey, Benny, what you doing?
It's like, you said I have to drink water. What about you? I was like, oh. You're not wrong.
You're right, though. Yeah.
You're right.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Benny. In closing, I was wondering, what advice would you give to someone who wants to better engage with the world around them? A little hard in this year in a physical sense, but it sounds like you've made real headway in that regard. So what would you say to someone who's looking to expand their circles?
It's trial and error. Honestly, that's something I had to come to terms with a couple of weeks ago with my friends. They were like, they were not shutting me down, but they were telling me how basically I have this thing where I go into extremes, and I think if it's not 100% good, then it's 100% bad. And the real way to like deconstruct that is by just trying everything. Trying forums or different apps or different like spaces and seeing what fits for you, what works for you and what doesn't, and not being afraid of like rejection or failure. That's the only way that you can make progress, is by like literally trying.
Throw it at the wall, see what sticks kind of thing.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. That's all you can do. My friends already like, they'll look at me and be like, you don't try? For what? And I was like, because it seems a bit scary. But like their mindset has always been like, life is about trying. Like it's about trial and error. So it's definitely a different headspace, but I appreciate their like bluntness and their honesty.
They sound like what I assume to be very lovely friends.
Amazing. I call them my soulmates. I love them so much.
Well, shouts out to them. Thank you for making Benny the person they are.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you again. Thank you for making time and rescheduling and making this work. It was great to have you.
Yeah, of course. Anytime. Oh, wait. And I have to say, and thank you for making this server and fostering a really safe and wholesome community.
Always. For as long as it lasts. That will be the goal. Yes. I needed that. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. We'll be in touch. I will definitely talk to you later.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I'll wait.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Hey Brad, it's Sophia, and I'm calling from upstate New York. I would say one way that I practice self-care is by writing music. It started as just like a hobby when I was really, really young, but now as life gets a little bit more difficult, it's something that I can express myself and actually disconnect from my problems in a way. It's easier to take care of yourself when you don't have this huge thing on your shoulders, and by writing that down on paper and making them a bit more manageable with a rhythm is a really great way that you can really express yourself. Yeah, thanks for listening.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, bestie.
Hey, bestie.
So good to finally chat.
Yeah, what's up, Brad?
Not much, Geneva. How's your day been? How's hockey?
Oh, it was pretty good. We were just skating around a lake because, Corona, so it was Corona safe, I promise. It's fun, though. It's fun.
Great to hear.
How's your day?
I'm on that, 1 p.m. wake up time type beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just starting. We got a lot of stuff planned for today. We'll see if we can get it done.
I woke up before 1 for the first time in 2 weeks
Hey,
today. So.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Cool. And then where are you calling from?
I'm calling from northern Minnesota.
Great to hear. Sweet. I think just first off the bat, give me the pitch on you, who you are, what you do, and what got you to where you are.
Pitch. I can't.
You've got it. You've got it.
Okay. My name's Geneva.
Mhm.
I'm a senior in high school, so I'm applying for colleges right now. I guess I do art. I play hockey. That's all I can think of.
Yeah, I feel like that's most of the basis of at least what I know of you.
Yeah.
From my engagement with you over these past few months, you're probably one of the most creative mutuals I have. I'm talking from your style to your art. It feels like you're always exploring, and I'm curious as to like when did you first tune into this world that you're so a part of now?
That's definitely, well, thank you, first of all.
Of course.
I'm interested in so many things. Like, I'll try anything once. I'll start a lot of projects. I have probably over 100 projects started and never finished.
Yes.
In the past only like year. So that's why when you're like the elevator pitch, I'm like, definitely like to try a lot of stuff for sure, especially with quarantine now. That started, honestly, kind of always been a thing. If you would have asked me last year, give me the elevator pitch on you, it honestly might have been different. I might have said something else. Like, yeah, always trying new stuff, like trying to figure out what I like. Because I'm like constantly like asking myself that, like, what am I? Who am I? Like,
exactly.
Like, I don't know the textbook definition of myself. And honestly, like, even just like the past few months, I've kind of just been like thinking that about that even more than usual.
Mhm.
And turning 18, I'm like kind of starting to realize like maybe not many people actually know. Like, pretty much nobody actually knows that. And like maybe I just need to accept that and just keep doing whatever. I don't know. I've definitely like found myself like focusing too hard on like being one, like just, you know, putting myself in a box or whatever that saying is.
Mhm.
But
Totally.
yeah.
And I think a lot of people would empathize with what you're saying, like feeling like you're painting yourself into a corner as you're, you know, still trying to figure out who you are. And then you realize, oh, no one really knows and everyone's kind of faking it. And that's okay.
No, literally. Because like when you're younger or whatever, you always see like older people as wiser and you're like, oh, that older person is this, and that, and they're good at that. But then when you get older, you're like, I'm not wiser.
Yeah.
I just can fake it better.
Exactly. It's like that saying. It's like the more you know you don't know.
Exactly.
We'll get there.
That's beyond true.
And why is it so important to advocate? The amount of resources and information I've seen you provide this year has been pretty staggering. Why do you see that as so important?
You're talking, okay, yeah, like activism work stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It feels weird calling it like my activism work, but my like care for like that type of stuff kind of started my whole life. Like my parents both work in like environmental fields and stuff. So like always been like involved with like climate change activism type stuff. That's actually kind of connected to then. So then I met more people who like work with like stopping this. It's called Line 3. That's basically, it's like a pollution thing in Minnesota. And then you meet other organizations like American Indian Association where I live, like, and you just keep meeting these organizations that like fight for different causes. And so then my like reach kept growing. And then with like the Black Lives Matter protests, it's always just been something that I'm like passionate about because I don't understand like how people could sit and see that happen and not feel the need to like try to do whatever they can do or like whatever we can do to help. I can't sit by and just not say anything. It definitely can be intimidating. I know like a lot of people are like, I don't want to say the wrong thing. And honestly, I am also afraid of that. And I'm pretty sure I have said the wrong thing multiple times. But whenever I can find like a resource or something that's happening that like a quick phone call or a petition or a donation can really like help someone, I definitely try to promote it as much as I can. It's actually gotten to the point where like when I started posting using my Instagram and my Instagram stories and stuff, I think like 200 people have stopped watching my stories just completely because they're so full of that stuff and they just don't want to see it. But there's still people who do. I get comments that are like, I don't understand how you find all this information. And it's honestly about following like the right activists and stuff. Like I get so much information from like people on social media. So like definitely credit to them. There's a lot of people on TikTok and Instagram for sure.
And I like what you're saying as far as like, sure, you might occasionally say the wrong thing, but like the amount of like learning for yourself you're engaging with and then like the net positive far outweighs like the risk of a misstep.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. It's hard because I don't want to say anything, you know, that could overstep when it's like not my place to speak. Confusing sometimes, but I think the best thing that anyone can do is just like share resources. If you see someone sharing those resources, definitely check them out because you could help a lot of people because we definitely need change for sure.
100%. A little sidestep here.
Okay.
With your art, with you and your passions,
Okay.
do tell, what was it like meeting Billie Eilish?
Okay. Oh my God. Okay. So I love Billy, right?
Yeah.
We are best friends. She doesn't know it yet, but I used to watch this dude on YouTube. But he used to do these things, and it was called like Music Wednesdays or Fridays. Anyways, he would make YouTube videos, and he would just show music that he found on like SoundCloud that he thought was really good, right? He found Billy's Ocean Eyes on SoundCloud before it was on anything but SoundCloud. And I was like, this is amazing. This is so good. And then listening to it all the time, it was like my favorite song. Like she released it to other platforms and it started to get somewhat big. I was reading like my aunt's Rolling Stones magazine and she was in it, and I found out who she was. And I was like, oh my God, this is the girl whose song I'm obsessed with. And I think she was like 13 or 14 at the time. Shortly after, it started to blow up because she like did a remix with like Black Bear. And so she started to get big, right? So I bought tickets to her concert for her first EP or album, whatever it's called, for her first tour. They were $15 concert tickets.
Shoot.
Yeah, and $10 extra for meet and greet. So I paid $25 for that concert and meet and greet. And I went to the concert in Minneapolis. It's the smallest venue you can imagine. Like it's the size of like a large living room. It was insane. There was like, I think there was probably 90 people there. And the stage, what isn't even a stage, like they just stand in front. It's crazy. So yeah, I met her. Sorry, I met her. And before we had gone, I was like, I'm going to paint her on my skateboard and then I'm going to go and I'm going to get her to sign it because that would be like pretty sick, right? I went to the meet and greet and I pulled it out and I was like, yeah, there's that video I think you saw on my TikTok of her like reaction to it, and everyone in the venue's reaction too, you can kind of hear in the background. So that was like pretty surreal because she was pretty shocked, and it was like, whoa, this person that I admire like insanely is like appreciating my art. And that was like, honestly, I still remember that feeling. That was like so cool because like I've always been like so like I don't know about art, like I kind of just do it for fun or whatever, but that was like a moment where I was like, wow, like I actually like this is cool, like I do something that I enjoy doing and people and also like think it's cool. Like that was insane.
That's so cool that this thing that you care so much about impacted someone that inspired you in such a profound way.
I know. It's so cool. It was so cool. It was so surreal. That's it. Yeah.
How should I put this? What do you want the message of you and your work to be? What do you want to leave behind of you?
Brad, I told you. I'm not a deep thinker like that. Okay. Well, the thing is, like, I try not to do like one thing specifically. So like this is kind of a hard question, but like if I'm making things, like the biggest thing that I can ask from them is that just like one other person like is interested in them. And honestly, sometimes it is myself. Like sometimes I'm the only person that's interested in it, which is also fine. But one thing I do enjoy about making things like a lot is who you meet throughout it, you know, like throughout the process. Like after I made those skateboards, like it kind of, the local skateboard shop, like reached out to me, which is like so cool because, you know, skater dudes, very cool. And they were like, hey, would you paint something for us? Like I make these like signs for them. And yeah, they're just like the coolest dudes ever. Like I actually told you, like this guy, he reminds me of you. You guys have similar energy, which is just like a very like big appreciation for like art and like the world. I love it so much. So yeah, you guys have very similar energy. You guys are both you guys are great. But yeah, no, I just really love like who you meet like with similar mindsets like throughout making things. Like it's beautiful to me. As far as a message I want to leave, I don't really have like a specific message.
Well, I think
yet.
I mean, what you're speaking to is kind of a message enough. It's more about the people to an extent that you meet
I
along the
love
way.
meeting people. It's like my favorite thing.
Oh,
I really do.
And, I mean, like, here we are.
Yeah, no, here we are, exactly. Like, I used to be shy as a kid, kind of, but I've definitely become super extroverted. Like, my confidence, like, in my life, I've definitely noticed is, like, how much my confidence has gone up in just, like, the past 2 years. I get such a rush off of, like, meeting new people that I, like, genuinely enjoy talking to, which is exactly you and me right here. I love it. It gives me so much, like, what is that, serotonin?
Yeah.
Just makes me very happy is what I'm trying to say. But it's actually been pretty nice now because I've discovered new things like Discord as of recently. Even though I was reading back the first DM I sent you, and you were just like, oh, maybe you can use Discord. And I was like, I don't know what that is. But
definitely a lot to figure out. And yeah, especially now more than ever, so many different ways to connect with people that I really would have not have thought about until
Yeah, for sure.
the necessity arose.
Exactly.
Exactly. Thank you so much. Geneva, thank you for taking time out of your day to speak with me. But in closing, and
Okay.
you touched on this a little bit earlier, we spoke to it a bit, but what advice would you give to someone who's trying to explore themselves more? You know, they know they're not fully there yet, but they're not sure how to get there either. What would you say to them?
Yeah, okay. Trying to figure out like who you are as a person, definitely something I think a lot of us like struggle with or think about. I definitely think about it way too much, overthink it all the time. Just as of recently, I've decided like maybe it's better to just start like accepting and like being comfortable with not knowing exactly who you are. I feel like relieves like a lot of stress and like pressure off of yourself for sure. Like decide that you're just gonna like do what you enjoy, which yeah, just like do what you enjoy and then see if that like is something that you think like, oh yeah, this is something that really makes me feel like myself. And that can go for like a lot of things. It doesn't just have to be like hobbies. It can be anything you want to try. You'll know the feeling and like that you get when it's something that you're like wholeheartedly enjoy and doesn't feel like work or like
When it clicks.
something that yeah, exactly, when it clicks, like something that you're doing like to like say that you did it or say that you do it, like that's like you're not going to find yourself if you're just like forcing yourself to be someone that you're not. Oh my god, that was cheesy, but that's true though. Like you're not gonna.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Search for the moments in your life that like make sense and feel right.
Exactly. I'm not an inspirational speaker by any means.
Me neither.
But
But we're figuring
I
it
just
out
like
together.
talking to you, Brad. So
Likewise, this has been very sweet. Thank you so much for your time and your words. I'll talk
so
to you
much
later.
of your time. Talk
Ciao,
to you later.
Geneva.
Ciao.
Hi Brad, my name is Franz. I'm calling from Argentina, and the way I practice self-care is by preparing a cup of coffee, maybe with a friend, and just sit for a while, maybe have a little conversation, sometimes just be quiet.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well yourself?
Wonderful, thank you.
Awesome. I'm Brad. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm Yumeng.
Awesome. Cool. How's your day been?
It's going pretty well.
Yeah.
Hardly started, but yeah.
Don't I know the feeling? And then where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Adelaide, South Australia.
So cool. Well, off the bat, Yumeng, give me the sort of elevator pitch on you, who you are, what you do, and what got you to where you are today.
Ooh, of course. So I'm Yumeng. I love going to galleries. Actually, I'm making a list of all the things I'd like to do before moving out to uni next year. And that's top 3 for sure. And what got me here was probably my parents deciding to move abroad 9 years ago.
Oh, wow. Where from?
So I lived in China for the first 9 years of my life.
And now?
So mainland China. I really like that.
Very cool. And you're right at the halfway point, so it's like literally 2 halves of your lives you're dealing with right now.
I am. Oh, that's scary.
Is that surreal?
Kind of. Especially like this year is meant to be like a big year. Last year of high school. Obviously one of the like bigger moments in my life so far.
For sure. In your message you sent me, a line that stuck out to me was like, planning big life decisions from your bedroom. What has that been like?
Oh my god. So for me, during that time, like the first half of the year, I was like applying to universities, like looking for accommodation and scholarships. It was all very nerve-wracking because we were doing remote learning at the time as well. So like nothing was certain, and I'm sure like everybody felt that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is gonna sound cheesy, but at the start of the year, that's why I was like, you know what? Maybe at the end of the year, I'll check in. I'll hop on Blond Radio and I'll check in to see how it really went.
Very good. And how would you rate the year? How's it gone?
It's gone pretty well for me. Like in Australia, we weren't hit that hard, especially where I live, by COVID. And we're only out of school for like a couple of weeks. Everything ended up being okay.
That's good. That's great to hear.
Yeah, what about you?
Oh man, honestly, like this year's been the most tumultuous, crazy, all over the place. But like I've had like the most growth personally, and just like with the people I know. So every month it's like I don't know how I'm gonna pay rent, but also it's like I'm living more than I ever did in the previous year. So I think it works out.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, not the rent part.
Yeah, for sure. Have you always been creatively inclined?
Yeah, sure. So when I was a kid, I would like just scribble all the time. Like my grandparents had to hide their like good A4 paper from me because I would just scribble
Oh
on them.
no.
Yeah, no, but I still paint.
Mhm.
So yeah.
That's awesome. What about art? What do you find in it that no other hobby can provide?
I guess I just kind of stuck to it. I think it's really relaxing. It's a nice thing to do. It's not like my main thing because I'm going to uni to study just science. So,
For sure. What was the interest there? What initially drew you to that field?
well, I guess if you ask my parents what my favorite word was when I was younger, they tell you is why. I just constantly be asking questions about how this works, how that works. Yeah, and my dad being an engineer, especially like really pushed me to take an interest in science. But right now, I think especially it's super important to just like gain an understanding of what's going on. It's really empowering.
Totally. There's that it's like one of the things, it's like the more I discover about the world, the more I realize I know nothing about the world because there's so many,
Yeah.
there's a million intricacies to every field that, like, I guess for me dissuades me, but for you, I guess it inspires and excites you.
Yeah, no, I feel like science and like STEM should be accessible to everybody. It's really important that everybody has a grasp,
Oh,
at
for
least a
sure.
little bit of what's going on. Yeah.
And now more than ever, as every day it seems like we edge closer and closer to irreversible damage to the planet.
Oh,
But who's to say?
yeah,
Scientists, I guess, but
yeah, I think it's really important for like findings to be communicated to everybody.
of course, yeah. And even in my lifetime, I'd probably agree that like I feel like there's a stronger belief in and support and recognition of like hard facts and a good thesis and concrete evidence. So hopefully that'll only continue moving forward.
Yeah.
You spoke to it a little bit, but what would you say is maybe the biggest way you feel like you've changed through this year?
Oh, man. It's like seeing kind of like 12 years of school come to fruition. That results were released this Tuesday morning. So
Yeah,
it really just kind of put into perspective that, yeah, maybe hard work does pay off. Maybe it does.
totally.
So I feel like I've started to believe in myself a lot more. And I feel like everybody have, especially in like this graduating year, to find that.
Yeah, maybe something that we haven't thought about too much yet. As you know, more kids are reaching graduation for their senior year and stuff. Because yes, although the main focus has been on how challenging distance learning and online school is, but then also like completing that is also a crazy huge accomplishment, and you should feel really proud of yourself.
Thank you.
Of course. Does it give you hope for your future? Do you feel like you're gonna succeed in your next venture?
Ooh, man. I hope so. I hope so.
Fingers crossed. Well, from what you've told me and from what I've learned of you, it sounds like you will. So I'm excited to see where you go.
Thank you so much.
Of course. You may. I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to speak with me. But in closing, what advice would you give to someone who wants to better engage with the world around them? 2020, a bit more challenging to do that. But how do you stay connected through your schooling, through everything that else you got going on? How do you foster the roots of empathy?
Oh, that's a lot. Staying connected. I guess, especially right now, like with social media and like the internet, it's really easy, really quick to just check on your friends, be engaged with your community, and when you can, just helping out. Like the holidays are coming up, and I know me and my friends are looking at volunteering for the community, and I feel like that's a really good way to grow your empathy because I know I've learned a lot, especially through like school community services. Our school's really big on that. So
Totally.
yeah, I feel like putting yourself out there, it's not that scary. Makes you feel good inside. Get out there.
Often that first step is the scariest, like taking that step to be like, oh, I'm going to make a effort to do this. What advice would you give to someone who's like that first step is just a bit too scary?
I say bring a friend with you. That would be my advice.
That's really good.
Yeah, that would be my advice. Just bring a friend with you. It's never going to be as scary as it seems.
For sure.
Like, especially if you're going out there to help somebody. You're only doing good in the world.
Totally.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I don't think I'd go skydiving alone, but I'd probably go with a friend.
Yeah, it'd be a very fun story to tell.
Of course. So sweet. Thank you again. Thank you for making time and tell me about you and your story.
Well, thank you for chatting with me. It's been lovely.
Of course. We'll definitely be in touch, and I'll talk to you later.
Sure. See ya.
Ciao. Special thanks to Benny, Geneva, and Yumeng for making this episode possible, as well as everyone who submitted an answer to the prompt. Intro music provided by Wayfie, that's Wayfie, and accompanying tracks by Lowboil, that's Loboil, who can both be found on all major streaming platforms. Be sure to swing by our Twitch stream this Sunday for more Blonde Radio content. Until then, I'll see you soon, and thanks for tuning in to Blonde Radio.